Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be The Curse of La Llorona, number 2 would be Shazam, number 3 would be Breakthrough, number 4 would be Little, and number 5 would be Hellboy. And I only got 3 out of 5 of my predictions right. The first 3 I got correct, but the last 2 in the top 5 were really off. So let's go over what happened in the overall top 10. Number 1 was, of course, The Curse of La Llorona. I kind of figured since Shazam was starting to die down a bit, and since The Curse of La Llorona probably had some hype going on because every time I saw the trailer in the theater, the audiences seemed like they were kind of into it, so I kind of figured it would get to number 1. It opened with $26 million on a budget of $9 million, so it's almost already tripled its $9 million budget, which is pretty insane. Worldwide, it is already sitting at $56 million, so this movie is already financially doing very well. So when I tell you that this is the weakest opening for a Conjuring-themed movie, don't be too surprised or really hurt by that. If you're a fan of the Conjuring series, it's not that big a deal. Like, usually the Conjuring movies open with around $40 or $30 million. This opening around $26 million, therefore making it the weakest opening, isn't that big a deal, especially since this budget was kept very low, especially compared to the other films in this series. So don't freak out if you're a fan of this movie, if you're a fan of the Conjuring series. It's just that I think leading up into Endgame, I think that's where a lot of the focus is right now, and especially since there's a movie at number 3 that I think some people were going out to see over this. But let's go on to number 2, which was Shazam, making $17 million, adding to a domestic total of $121 million. Worldwide, it is sitting at $322 million. It is outgrossed David F. Sandberg's previous films, making it his highest grossing one, which is really good. It is a bit of a bummer, though, that it's probably looking like it's not going to be able to come close to even outgrossing the lowest grossing DCEU film, which is Justice League. A little bit of a bummer there, but hey, you know what? The budget was kept really low compared to Justice League. It's already made its money back. They're already developing another one of these because the fan reception has been really good, so I'm still happy with that at least. Number 3 was Breakthrough, this faith-based film for the Easter season, making $11 million, but since this opened up on a Wednesday, that adds to a domestic total of $14 million. Worldwide, it is already at $20 million, and it needs $8 million more to double its $14 million budget. It's definitely gonna do that, obviously. The budget's kept really relatively low. It's had a solid opening right here. It's gonna double its budget. There's been a lot of support for this film, obviously, by its fan base because it is catered toward a specific audience, so it's pretty obvious that this movie's gonna do very well. But where I started to get things wrong, number 4 was Captain Marvel, coming back up in the ranks of the top 10, making $9 million, adding to a domestic total of $400 million. It has done it. It has crossed over the $400 million domestic total, which is pretty insane if you really think about it. Worldwide, it is sitting at $1.89 billion, which is super insane. I think this is definitely having to do with the fact that Endgame is coming out next weekend, and I think some people kind of needed another Marvel movie in their veins before they see it, so they went to see Captain Marvel again. Or maybe there are some that are slacking on seeing it, maybe just now realize that Captain Marvel will be in it. Either way, this movie just had a bit of a boost this week, and that's pretty good. Number 5 was Little, not in the number 4 spot like I predicted, making $8 million, adding to a domestic total of $29 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $34 million. So it's only $6 million off from doubling its $20 million budget. It's definitely going to get there. Like, the budget's really relatively low, and it's only $6 million away. It's going to double its budget, no problem there, even with Endgame coming out next week. Number 6 is Dumbo, making $6 million, adding to a domestic total of $101 million. Good for it, for getting past $100 million domestically, and worldwide it is sitting at $307 million. So it's only $33 million away from doubling its $170 million budget, which is pretty good. It'll be interesting to see how much more the worldwide total goes up, especially since the big colossal movie that I keep referencing is coming out next week. But I think given where it is right now, it might have a little bit of a chance of actually doubling its budget. It's still not one of the most successful live-action remakes that Disney has made, but it might be able to double its budget, maybe, question mark. Number 7 is Pet Sematary, making $4.8 million, adding to a domestic total of $49 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $95 million. So $5 million away from getting to $100 million worldwide. I don't think these recent Stephen King adaptations like It or The Dark Tower are going to stop anytime soon, even though Dark Tower might not be the best example, because because these movies are still doing pretty well for themselves, especially with It Chapter 2 coming out a little later this year, probably going to make the same amount of money that the first movie did, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but still a lot. Number 8, we have Missing Link going up from the number 9 spot, but not really that much money-wise. It only made $4.3 million, adding to a domestic total of $12 million. There's still no worldwide total for this thing, and it needs to get past $120 million to double its $60 million budget, but it's just not going to do it. I saw the film. I haven't gotten a chance to review it yet. I've been a little busy. I'm going to try to do it Wednesday, maybe, but it is a bit of a bummer that this movie isn't doing as well as it probably should. Number 9 is Us, making $4.2 million, adding to a domestic total of $170 million, $6 million away from outgrossing Get Out. I hope, even with Endgame coming out next week, that still some people go out to see Us and give it that $6 million that it needs. Also, worldwide, it is sitting at $245 million. It is $1 million away from outgrossing Glass worldwide, so it'll be the highest Blumhouse movie for this year so far, but it's $33 million away from outgrossing Split to be the highest grossing Blumhouse movie ever worldwide. I hope it gets there with other worldwide places it's opening, but I'm not really sure. It's about to leave the top 10 too, which is a bit of a bummer, but not as much of a bummer as the people who made Hellboy are experiencing right now. Coming in at number 10. Last weekend it opened up like, 3-4, somewhere around there, but it just dropped a lot to number 10, making $3 million, adding up to a domestic total of only $19 million, and worldwide, I haven't found any worldwide totals for it yet, but needless to say, I don't think we're going to be seeing more Hellboy movies out of this universe that they've created. Thank God. If you saw my review, you know I'm not a fan. A lot of people weren't fans, so they told other people not to go see this thing, and it's bombing because of that. Now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5, or maybe not so fun because it's going to be very obvious what they are. Number 1, very easy, Avengers Endgame. I'm just going to let you guys know I have a play this weekend, so I'm not going to be able to see Endgame until the Monday after this weekend. So number 1, don't spoil it, and number 2, just be patient with my review. Number 2, The Curse of La Llorona. Number 3, Shazam. Number 4, Breakthrough. And number 5, Captain Marvel. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.